snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So today is Friday, which means it's time for Friday Reads, and again I have a miniature haul at the end of this Friday Reads for you guys. It seems like that seems to be a theme currently. The first thing that I am about halfway through is this one. It is Emperor of the Eight Islands by Leanne Hearn. I've talked about this a little bit before, but now that I'm halfway through I can tell you a bit more about it. It's kind of very Japanese inspired. There's a lot of sort of dynasties, families, and there's definitely a lot of political intrigue. I would say that this reads very easily. It's a very quick read, very easy read. It feels kind of like children's, but there is sex and things like that, so it is a YA, I suppose. It's really easy to get through. I've read part 1 of this, I need to read part 2, but I am really enjoying this so far, and I can imagine that if it keeps on the same track, it will probably get a very high rating. The next one that I'm currently reading is also one I've talked about before. It is The Countenance Divine, and it's by Michael Hughes. This one I am now a third of the way into. I sort of read a fair chunk of it last night and really enjoyed what I've read, but it's so weird. It's basically following lots of different timelines and lots of different characters from those timelines. We follow a young man who kind of meets this woman, and she takes him to this art gallery, and bizarre things are happening there. He's not really sure what their art is supposed to mean, but it has roots in history and looking at historical figures. And then we go back in time and we look at some of the historical figures that her art project is focusing on, and we follow their narratives, and we also have some very bizarre sort of letters, and it's very weird but very interesting so far. I'm hoping to finish this one up in the next few days because it is super short, so now that I'm into it, I'm really liking it. And the next one is this one. It is The Romanovs by Simon Sebag Montefiore. I have had this for a while on the TBR, and I wanted to make some progress with this, which I have done over the past few days. I'm now halfway through this, which is good because it is quite chunky, as you can see. Really enjoying it still. The writing style is super, super easy to get through, even though it is quite a dense historical topic following the Russian family, the Romanovs, who ruled over Russia for quite a long time, from the 1600s up to the 1900s. So definitely a very long time period to cover, lots of different names, lots of different people, but easy reads, and I like it a lot, so I will be carrying on with this one. And the final one that I will be reading is Sinners by Pat Cadigan, which is our book for the Magical Space Pussycats this month. As you guys probably know if you've seen the latest episode, Elizabeth, Chelsea and I are reading one book every month together and discussing it. So the first one is Sinners by Pat Cadigan. It is a cyberpunk book, and so far I'm not very far into it, but I will be by the end of today because I'm going to be focusing on this one today. Hopefully I like it. I will report back in the podcast, so you'll have to go and check that out very soon for episode number 2, where we talk a little bit more about how we're finding the book. Now moving on to the things I got sent in the post this past week. The first thing is very exciting because it is this, which is, as I said before, The Romanovs. However, this is the audiobook. This was very kindly sent on to me by Orion. The Orion Publishing House are fantastic, and they offered me some audiobooks of my choice from their list, and as I already have The Romanovs in book form, I requested this so that I could listen along as well. So far I'm really enjoying doing that. These are the CDs and the narrator is very good, so this has definitely helped me to get further through the book. I will certainly be finishing up the book by reading and listening, so thank you to them for sending this to me because it is super awesome. The next thing I was sent is actually a digital file, and I have this on my Kindle. It is The Beauty by Aaliyah Whiteley. You guys will probably remember that I just reviewed The Arrival of Missives very recently by Aaliyah Whiteley, who writes for Unsung Stories. So when I did that review, Unsung Stories got in contact and said, would I like a copy of The Beauty for my Kindle? And I said, yes please. So now I have that. I've heard good things and I'm very intrigued because she writes very weird, bizarre stuff, but I like what she does. So hopefully I will like this one just as much as the novella by her. Next up, I had this arrive in the post. It's an invitation to a book called Caravel, and this was sent out to me by Chapter 5, I believe, which is part of Hachette. And then a few days later, this arrived. Yes, this way round, Caravel, and this is the actual book. It is by Stephanie Garber, and I mean, look, the pages are red, which is awesome. The cover is beautiful, it's super shiny, super lovely. And on the back it just says, "Remember, it's only a game." A mesmerising, magical, stunningly imaginative debut novel, perfect for anyone who loved The Night Circus, which I adored, and Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which I also really enjoyed. And then at the very back it says, "Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny isle of Trisda, pining from afar for the wonder of the Caraval, a once-a-year 5-day performance where the audience participates in the show. Caraval is magic, mystery, adventure, and for Scarlet and her beloved sister Tella, it represents freedom and an escape from their ruthless, abusive father. When the sisters' long-awaited invitations to the Caraval finally arrive, it seems that their dreams have come true, but no sooner have they arrived than Tella vanishes, kidnapped by the show's mastermind organiser, Legend." And I won't read any more because I don't want to give anything else away, but it sounds very cool, sounds like it's going to be a fun one. I'm definitely intrigued and I'm hoping that I will really like this, fingers crossed. And the final one I actually requested. This one is published by Orbit, so they were very kind to send it to me, and this is The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan. I believe this one just came out. This was on my most anticipated list for the rest of the year, as you guys probably know. Anthony Ryan wrote Bloodsong, which I absolutely adored, so I'm hopeful that I'll like this series too. However, I didn't love the second and third in his previous series, so fingers crossed this is more like the first one in his other series than it is the second two. It has a dragon on the front though, which is very, very cool, and this one does sound quite an interesting concept. I believe it's about a young man who has to hunt for dragons to get their blood because that can be manipulated in some way to give people powers and strength and stuff. So, sounds very bizarre. Hoping to read this one in August with Michael, so that should be good fun. That is everything I am currently reading. It's also everything I received in this past week. Do let me know down below if there's anything I've shown you today that you want me to read very soon, or if there's anything that you have read and what you thought of it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.